Hello, my name is Nabila Sempala, a Ugandan politician. I've served in the Parliament of Uganda for 15 years representing Kampala, and I also served as a district councillor at the district level. Abawuliriza abalaba amanya Nabila Sempala munnabyabufuzi munna Kampala. I am making a video. It's a maiden video to highlight and show the status of women in politics in Uganda, and it's an experience that I want to bring to you, to everyone, to understand what it is like to be a woman in politics in Uganda. I have lived the life of an elected leader, and to say the truth, there's nothing that prepares you to be a politician. It's just like any other career. It's the passion, it's the choice, it's the motivation to make change that ushers you in politics. I want to address what the reality of everyday life is like for a politician, especially a woman. Being a mother, being a wife, being a daughter, being a sister in a high context culture like Uganda is very connected to what the structure is culturally, religiously, and you have to fit in all those patterns as a woman. So why now? In 2006, I joined a new party called FDC. And it was a simultaneous event because as I joined the party, I was already campaigning as a woman member of parliament representing Kampala. So to bring it forward, I was elected successfully. I joined the party. I became a national executive member, a NEC member, and I became a shadow minister. And with it, all the passion that I held, the electorate, the hope they had in me, and I started on the journey. As the first few months, I was navigating my party, understanding it. But then I realized that the constitution that I had read, the provision of the roadmap, the provision of the vision, did not prepare me for the reality of balancing a party, a community, and parliament. So I had to bring it all in stride. Then, as I was navigating, I realized that the party has layers within it. And I was to learn what the layers were. There were 2 layers. There were factions, and each faction was led by a patriarch. And you had to choose within the party which side or which clique to belong to. That was my introduction to the nitty-gritty of party politics. Then the factions were not unified. They were fighting. They were competing against each other. But externally, we were a united force. So I had to learn to navigate the complexity of a divided internal political dynamic versus a united front to the public. And as a politician who started out in the opposition, we were the face of hope for the nation. People believed in us that everything that was wrong in the nation would be corrected by our actions, our vision. And when I realized that that was what I was supposed to do, I started navigating how to present myself to the public, the media. But then this is when those and the positioning starts. What do women play in such a patriarchal layer? One, you start by adhering and conforming to your party, and also being true or trying to have sensitivities to the dynamics within the party. So when I say that, of course, this all does not give you time. It is all fast-paced. So I needed to, as I was still navigating and learning all the ropes, parliament, committees, I realized that I think I wasn't fitting into the roles of the subservient woman within the party. And I was to learn that my character was very disturbing to the patriarchal setting within the party. And I didn't know then that my fate and my image, even in the media, would be sealed because of how the patriarchs behind the scenes had described or had formed about me. And that was an image that I have had to struggle with all this time. So how is a woman treated in a party like my party? Well, you had roles of competing and appealing to the sentiments of the powerful men within, and also fight for them, fight on their behalf, the other parallel layer. And I decided to be non-aligned, and that non-alignment had to cost me a lot of image portrayal. And other women, where I think I can also say the other women, as I was going into the party, one of the strongest women who had mobilized for the party, who is now in the government, Betty Kamia, was leaving the party. What I didn't understand is, so there was a lot of media attack against her. I was confused, but because politics is like a treadmill, I had to keep going. And she was ushered out of the party. There was a lot of talk how she was a traitor, how she was spying on the party, and she was unceremoniously, ushered out of the party, though she remained a member of parliament. Little did I know that this was the setting that subsequent women would follow. When you see that, I decided to try to adhere and try to serve my electorate. The first thing that I did was, when I traveled and I was elected as a member of parliament, in my first year, I traveled to Ghana for the Interparliamentary Union. And when I came back in the country, the media and the community was awash. Nabila is a spy. She was sponsored to go and spy on the party president in Ghana. So, do you defend yourself? To whom do you defend yourself? Do you go to the media? Of course, the journalists are also allied to the factions. And those factions are very powerful because the media dances to their tunes. So, the media plot for me was done. A spy, someone not to be trusted, someone who is going to betray the party. And that's an image I've had to contend with as I diligently support my country. Of course, as a woman, they'll tell you you're sleeping with everyone who is powerful. And that is fronted within the party. But that does not mean that the powerful figures within the party don't try to make you, a sleeping convenience. And the gender-based violence, which is very insidious, which is very psychological, starts. Many of my colleagues had to leave the party, a party that had almost over 25 women. By the time we had finished 5 years, half that number had been whisked out of the party on complaints. I had to hang on by my teeth. So my next primary, I was the image of, I think she was elected because she's beautiful. What can she have? You're not intelligent until the male members, the men in the party, describe you. And our status, especially those of us who started in 2006, was predetermined. Those who were strategically picked as good women, that brand persisted with the media. And those who were very stubborn women, like me, who were not conforming, were branded. We are Jezebels. We are the Eves who are going to tempt Adam. And the selection process becomes, mind you, this is somebody, I hold a master's in public administration. I'm a multilingual graduate. I speak German, French. But that aside, I am regarded only as good if I am subordinate. And as a culture, I kneel before the men within the party. I portray respect to them. And that was the pattern. And as I speak now, so many women, of course, they divide you. There are those women who are used as good women against the bad women. And the future of women in politics is dire. If we fast forward and take us to the status of women as the party was being founded in 2006, with the Secretary General who was a woman, with a powerful woman who was like the party envoy. They were powerful women, definitely, I cannot say that. And right now, when you look at the party, the good girls are the ones who have remained in the party. The party barely has members, women members of parliament. And even those who have been co-opted in NEC are the good women who, behind the scenes, conform to the standards set by the patriarchs within the party. So a call to action. As we see the political genocide of careers of women in politics, in the party, even politically in Uganda, I realized that there's a disconnect between civil society organizations, the legislation that are in place for gender parity, and the reality of everyday life of women politicians in Uganda. The life of a woman politician in Uganda is very painful, is very traumatizing. There is a lot of mental trauma. The media has a heyday when a woman is being discussed. We are the co-opted other within the political scene. And the ridiculing, sexism, the misogyny, the portrayal of women as the proverbial spies within parties has not spared the FDC party. As we call upon all structures in society and those that are very important in government, in the politics and development of democracy in Uganda, we need to have a lens on media and its gender bias towards women in politics. Number two, civil society organizations to listen more and be in touch with the politicians, the women politicians in the country, because they are serving, we are sisters, we are holding each other's hands. Number three, development partners. Have a feel for the women, because the development funds that go into empowering women, in the last 15 years, we've built and then broken. So how do we sustain women in politics and have like a chain and generational sustainability? This has been my own contribution to women in government and in governance. I hope it inspires some of you, it encourages you, and it builds on what we can do together to have women supported in politics.